Hello and welcome to the latest edition of Tournament Directors Guide podcast. And my guest today is Maria Bivens of Sport Pins International, which for the last 35 years has become one of the leaders in the tournament space for delivering and creating wonderful pins, medals, trophies, all the things that people have at tournaments for the winners and just for participation and exchange and all the good things that people do with them. So Maria, welcome to the show. It's great to have you on board.
Thank you. Thank you for having me, Michael. It's great to be here.
My pleasure. And we always start these segments off by giving everybody a chance to sort of just introduce yourself. Tell us a little bit about the history of the company. Tell us a little bit about your role in the company, and just give us the cliff notes of what it is you do and how you interact with the tournament industry.
Sure. Well, first of all, it's a family business, which we're very proud of. You know, almost everyone in the family does work in it. My mother-in-law was the one that started the business over 35 years ago, or 34 years ago, somewhere around there. My husband, Jeff, he's the oldest. There's two brothers, Jeff and Mike. My mother-in-law, her name is Connie. My father-in-law, his name is John. I'm sure a lot of people know them. They've been in soccer for a very, very long time. Anyways, they went up to a tournament up in Canada, and pin trading was just beginning, just in its infancy, and someone told her that was going, said, hey, you know, you really should take some pins to trade. A lot of the kids do that. So she bought some very generic American flag pins and took them up with her. The kids traded it with with other kids that were coming in from other parts of the country. They loved it. Someone else said, hey, you know what, we're going to another tournament. We'd love to get some of those. So she purchased some more, sold it to them. Someone else said, hey, we'd like some more of those. She got some different other, like, soccer pins and other kind of stuff, sold them those, and eventually that just kind of snowballed. You know, then all of a sudden she was doing some custom pins with a local area. And like I was saying, this was, you know, over 30 some years ago. So computers didn't exist. Everything was hand-drawn, hand-colored in with pencils and crayons and, you know, whatnot. So they would take the designs over. They would have them manufactured, you know, here, and it would take, you know, 8 to 10 weeks. You know, the pins were very expensive back then. Still, they were, you know, now they're very cost-effective. And, you know, as time went on, my father-in-law actually was the one he worked at Toro, the irrigation company, and he, I think, really saw where this was going. By then, you know, 5 years or so had gone by, and she was just growing. I mean, getting more and more local tournament business. They started to do medals, you know, small medals. They started to do referee coins, just other kinds of, you know, stuff for the kids and for the different tournaments. My father-in-law was the one that actually, he took early retirement, and he was the one that grew the business. He took it to an office space, and they hired more employees. By then, my husband and his brother were in high school, and they would help out by linking the medals and putting the ribbons on and helping out with the drawings. And then they would package everything up when they started actually buying stuff overseas. And they would put everything they would draw everything, and they would put it in an envelope and mail it off, you know, to the factories. And then so everything would take, you know, an incredible amount of time. They thought it was just amazing when faxing, you know, everybody started faxing.
Yeah, I remember faxes, goodness.
Wow. So, and then,
we're both showing our age there, so that's probably not a good thing to do.
And then, of course, my husband, he graduated from college. My brother-in-law, Mike, same thing. They joined the business more. They started to go to more. Then the different states started forming. USU Soccer started forming. AYSO was also in its infancy. So they saw all of those big youth organizations really from their inception, and they grew with them. So Sport Pins has grown with, you know, the grassroots, you know, from the very beginning as youth tournaments developed and started. As a result, my father-in-law, he was a referee for a long time. He managed and coached soccer teams. My husband, you know, participated. My brother-in-law, his kids now have also, you know, AYSO club, you know, etc. So and all the people that they hired here were also part of that soccer genre, that's, you know, that beginning. So everybody here has either been a tournament director, they've worked at AYSO at a national level, they've all been referees, they've all been coaches, they've all been, you know, something part of this, you know, wonderful thing that we call and love soccer here in America today. So a lot of history, a lot of history.
But you're called Sport Pins International, and you do other sports besides the soccer, correct?
Yes, absolutely. I mean, obviously, as time went on, people, word of mouth, they started kind of growing. Now we are very popular in lacrosse. We do a lot of baseball. We actually are licensees for Little League, so we do Little League. We do a lot of softball. A lot of pin trading goes on in those sports. We're diving into hockey now. Basketball, volleyball. We attend a lot of those big trade shows, and we're just having a lot of fun with it because it's basically the same concept, just moving it into other sports. And we're all very sports fanatics here, so I mean, what can I say?
Yeah, well, I think that's true of all of us here at this end, and also our audience as well. So, actually, you mentioned something, and that was going to be my next question. What are the main differences, similarities, if there are indeed any differences, between the various sports? Are they all same, or is there a greater emphasis on, say, trophies in one sport versus medals in another, or patches in one sport versus plaques in another? Are there differences that you're starting to notice between the various sports?
Well, yeah, actually, even in soccer, soccer started out being very trophy oriented, and I think as more globalness and internet, Facebook, people started to realize that in Europe, where soccer was really born, South America, they used medals, so they kind of started shifting more towards medals, something a little bit more traditional. Lacrosse, actually, they would do more like T-shirts and lacrosse sticks and equipment, and I think, but a lot of people in lacrosse, they have their roots in soccer as well, so they've actually adopted more the medals and stuff like that. Baseball has always been very into column trophies, those big built trophies, but I think at some point, I think all the moms have, the garage full of those big trophies, and I think the portability of those trophies is not, it's not real efficient to be able to maneuver those. And they all kind of look the same. They're all very generic, whereas medals are very custom. They're very unique to your own event. So you're able to, have a logo, have your very own design and make it very unique. And a box of medals, you can carry that out onto the field, whereas trophies, they require, a lot more work. On the money side of it, any kind of a trophy is going to cost you upwards of, 8, 9, 10, 12, into the $20 range. You can get a phenomenal medal. I mean, just the best there is for under $6. A participation medal could be, $2, $2.50. So cost-wise, it really does make a difference. So I think we are seeing, in general, everybody is going more towards medals. Patches are still used greatly as a participation item, especially in soccer still, and just in general. In softball, you see a lot of patches as well.
Mm-hmm.
Girls in softball, they've gotten really creative. They don't want just a pin. They want a pin that glitters, that if it can sing to them, they're going to want that. They want it shiny and blingy and diamonds and big and flashy. So that's always we always have really a lot of fun designing softball pins for girls, because we can get really, really crazy and really out of the box with that. So
so you do the designs yourself. I was actually looking. You've got this checklist on your website of things that tournament directors sort of need to go through in order to get their trophies, medals, whatever it is, ready. And one of the things that you say on here is that you design these things. People can fax over literally a napkin or something to you, and you'll take it from there and design it at no extra charge. Yeah.
Yes, and actually that is one of the things I wanted to touch upon for new tournament. We actually have a lot of experience working with new tournament directors. So because again, we have the experience. We know all the ins and outs, the tricks and the trades. I guess the first thing I would say is start early. Start as early as you can. 3 months being the minimum. If you can do 6 to 12 months, that's even better. And the reason being is to help promote your tournament, so that we can get the design exactly right. I mean, you can tell us, what we want to see. Say they're from Texas, and they say, we want to see a boot and some bullhorns, and we want to see the state of Texas, and we wanted to say this. Well, we'll start coming up with designs, and we'll start sending it over. So that's very important when you work with an awards company, be it us or be it anybody else. Be sure that you get what you want, and that they can communicate with you exactly what you're looking for, because you have in your mind kind of what you want. On the other hand, what you have in your mind might not be the perfect solution, because it needs to apply to different applications, embroidery, patches, pins, metals, print, social media. So that graphic does need to be able to adapt itself and look clean on a variety of media. So yes, we do design. We do all the design work for free. We will actually give you the design to help you promote your event.
So you get what, a JPEG or a ping or something like that, and then does that become the tournament logo? Are you actually, although in a roundabout way, are you actually ending up designing the tournament's logo itself, or are they coming to you with a logo more often than not?
We can design the logo, and yes, we do that a lot. Some tournaments that are a little bit bigger and stuff, they have their own tournament logo that they use year after year. We'll adhere to that. A lot of times we just kind of update it, kind of clean it up a little bit, make a few tweaks and changes. Some of them have no idea. They come in, they're like, we don't know what we're doing.
Don't know what a JPEG is. Don't know what a ping is.
Yeah, and some of even the more established tournaments, a lot of them, they change their logo year after year. The bigger national tournaments, and they'll come to us, again, a year in advance and say, we want to do something new for next year. Send us some designs, and that's where that process starts. So yes, we design a lot of the big national showcase and national tournaments that you see around the country. We've designed it. We're very grateful and very thankful to have an excellent design team here in-house. We count with several graphic artists, and we can turn around artwork in a day usually. So that's always a good thing.
On an aside note there, do you feel or do you find that it's a good idea to continually update your logo year after year? Or is there a certain value in consistency of branding, but also the more logistical and practical application of, if we've got 200 t-shirts left over, it's really best not to redesign our logo because we can sell them next year? What's your take on that thinking?
I think for youth tournaments, I actually kind of think that changing it up a little bit every year is a good thing. Sometimes not to the point where it's completely different. Either keep the same colors or keep your logo or some aspects of what you've used before, keep those in the following year so that there is some kind of continuity. We do have some tournaments that absolutely they have their logo, their design, and that's it. We're going to do it. And those are some of the more older, established premium tournaments that to win a medal from that, it has a lot of value attached to it. But on the other hand, when you have kids going year after year to the same tournament, they kind of want to do something else. Now, another thing we can do, especially if you're using a medal that has a lot of color in it, we can switch up the colors in it. We can change them around. Custom ribbon has been a really big innovation in the last 2 years. So we use a lot of custom ribbon on these medals, and we can change the ribbon, and just make it a little bit different, a little bit fresher, kind of a thing. So to answer your question, I think there's two sides of it. I think when you're a tournament that's been around a very long time and has continued to use the same logo, then no, don't change it, because it does have a lot of value attached to it. If you're a newer tournament and you're trying to attract new kids, and they're coming year after year, then yes, change it up a little bit. Don't be afraid to think outside of the box, especially if it's because logos do tend to look a little dated, and I think you see that even with big national brands, that they tend to change up some of their style or how they apply their logo into different applications.
Yeah, even MLS is changing their logo as we speak.
Absolutely, yes, all of those. So yes.
So tell me, in your experience, you've been doing this. How many years have you been doing this? How many years have you been involved with the company?
Well, I have been actually working here full-time for close to 6 years, but I've been married to my husband for 18, going on 19 years. So I've always been a part of the business since 19 years. I would, help him out going to trade shows. I'd come in and help out here, or he, bounce ideas off of me. And of course, I love soccer. So, we've actually gone to several World Cups. My in-laws actually were big they helped out a lot when it was the 1990 World Cups. They went to Italy and helped support. They were one of the founding people to help U.S. soccer get on its way to get that first World Cup
Yeah,
into
right.
men's team into Italy, and then of course when it came here to '94, same thing for the Women's World Cup. They've been huge supporters of the Women's World Cup. When the Women's World Cup was here, I actually volunteered. I was one of the people that helped out there. So it's been a lot of fun. It's been a lot of fun. We've had a lot of fun with it, and now we know a lot of people, and we've like I said, we've really grown with the soccer here in America, and we're so excited to see where it's going.
Well, it's certainly come a long, long way in the 35 years that you've been doing. I mean, I deal with a lot of tournaments, and they're just experiencing maybe their 30th or 35th anniversary. So that trajectory is almost identical to your company history. The question I guess I was going to get to, though, if you've been doing this for a long, long time, and I guess my question is, as we try to sort of reach out to our audience of tournament directors, what are the three biggest mistakes they make in terms of ordering the trophies, and whether it's timing, whether it's design, whether it's management by committee, all those kinds of things. What in your experience, are the three biggest things people need to remember and perhaps try and avoid as they're ordering their medals?
All of the above. First of all, timing. Timing's going to be one of the biggest issues. I think the lack of knowledge, of knowing how, we get a lot of phone calls from newer tournament directors that they kind of leave that to the very end, and they'll say, hey, my tournament's next is this Friday. What can I and they want the big shiny custom medal, and we're like, oh, you know what, that's just not going to happen, because from start to finish, after we do the final artwork, it's going to take 4 weeks to produce those medals. If we can go back further, we will. The other aspect of that is the earlier you order. If you can order 4 months in advance, you're going to save a lot of money because of shipping costs. So anyway, so that's mistake number one, is definitely timing. Second of all, not knowing what your budget is. Establish a budget from the get-go. Know how much you can spend. We can help as far as especially if you're a brand new tournament, you don't know how many kids are going to have. You're going to base it on your brackets, because you're going to need awards for every bracket. But we can help you select awards that, if you have leftovers, you can reuse them the following year with a couple of changes so they don't look as identical as they did this year. But we're going to help you. We have a lot of tricks up our sleeves to help you out with that. And thirdly, I guess, would be to not know who your core audience is. We see sometimes tournaments that want to give out things or do stuff that isn't what they need. They want to spend their money on stuff that they could be using it in other areas. So, and then of course, like you said, doing it sometimes by committee doesn't work, because everybody has in their mind what they want to see. Some people like the color blue, some people like the color red, some people like the color yellow. So if you give them, 5 choices and you have 5 people, you're going to get 5 different answers. So sometimes narrowing that decision process can really mean a lot. So
yeah, absolutely. I find this when we're working with tournaments too, an awful lot of 3 different people with 3 different opinions can certainly spoil the broth, as the saying goes. As we're sort of getting into other sports, is there something that the soccer folks, and obviously your history is primarily in the sport of soccer, can what you've done in this space be instructional or instructive to the tournament directors in other sports? Have the soccer folks who've been doing this for much longer learned or have something to teach the folks who have perhaps come newer, like you say, talking about perhaps getting rid of the trophies and going to medals? Are there any other areas where the soccer folks or people who've been doing this for a while can teach other sports?
Oh, absolutely. I think just in how to manage the largesse of the kids, the parents, dealing with weather problems, field problems. I mean, you know how many incidentals can occur on that on that given day. As far as awards go, I would think that soccer people could teach others that your awards are going to be a direct reflection of your tournament. So if you want to convey that your tournament, be it whatever sport, is a valuable tournament, has value to it, to help to have because parents have a lot of decision or a lot of say so in where the kids are going to go, or where the clubs are going to go, or where the teams are going to go to play. So they're going to want to go to tournaments that have value to them. Again, in any sport. So I think that is something that soccer people could definitely help impart to other sports. Organization, do they have hotels in place, restaurants that can accommodate that many kids for because how many kids will swarm in on a weekend for a big tournament to a local area? So do they have all that infrastructure to help out, and what they have available? So.
Yeah, I often get the feeling that the soccer folks, even though the sport is fairly new to this country, the soccer folks in the tournament space are perhaps a step or two ahead of some of the other sports, because they've been doing this for such a long time. Perhaps out of necessity, because they had to years ago, just to sort of keep the lights on, so to speak. The fundraiser tournament was a critical part of it. How do you market this? This is something you did mention, that you do a lot of trade shows, and I've seen you at trade shows at the NSCAA convention. But do you do that exclusively, or are there tons of other things that you do in terms of sort of marketing what you do?
Well, trade shows are probably our biggest marketing tool. We obviously, we do, advertising and programs, and catalogs and so forth. But our product is uniquely something that you kind of have to touch and feel. If you see a picture of a medal or a pin, it's going to look pretty. But once you have that actual medal in your hand, and you feel the weight of it, and you feel the texture of the ribbon and the texture of the metal, and you see the colors, that's our selling point. The quality and the design work. A lot of different medals and pins have a lot of little intricate designs that have meaning to it, like little hidden meanings kind of a thing. And when you see those actually, in your hands, that's when it's going to, that is probably our biggest. So we do a lot of trade shows. We go to almost all the state AGMs. They're general meetings where they have vendor expos. We do. We're very active also, like in U.S. adult club soccer. We do a lot with. We go to the lacrosse convention, of course. Next year we're going to be attending a couple of hockey events. We do the volleyball. We do Little League. We do softball. And so yes, a lot of face-to-face work is done with people. Email, Facebook, all the social media, of course.
Sure.
Help
do you actually write business at those events, or is it more a matter of networking and following up later to actually write the business and take the orders?
Yes, that's basically what it is. It's mostly meeting people, showing them our product. We do have, of course, customers that come by and they want to see what's new, and they do touch base. We will take like artwork that we've done for them. We'll take it there, or we'll take samples to them. Like if I know, like at the NSCA coming up next year, I have a lot of customers that go to that, and I'll say, hey, we just got this new kind of a medal in, or this new kind of a ribbon, and I'll be there and I'll have samples of it. So they'll come by and they'll see what we have going on. So that they can start planning, or we'll talk to them, because sometimes even on the phone or by email, you just don't have that chance to sit down and talk to them about what their plans are, or how we can help them grow their tournament. So sometimes that one-on-one really helps and gives us a leg up. So.
Excellent. Well, we always finish up with what we call a quick round, a lightning round, and I'm going to ask you 4 quick questions, and just give me the first thing that sort of comes to your mind. Looking back over the years, what's been your biggest challenge in this industry?
Wow, that's I hate to sound like we don't. Probably growing. Trying to do too much at once. We try to go all in, a new sport or something like that, and then we have to kind of back off a little bit and then go at it again. So
we've only got 16 staff. We can't we can't do every sport kind of thing. Yeah.
So.
What have you done over the years? What has your company done over the years that you're the most proud of?
Probably been a very, very important part of the growth of soccer in America.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I've certainly been around for 20 some years, and I've always seen you everywhere I've
Yeah,
gone. So
probably
that's a
that's.
good thing.
I mean, we're my father-in-law, my mother-in-law are actually Hall of Fame members of USU Soccer. We have been partners with US Soccer for 30 years. We're partners with CONCACAF. We're looking forward to doing some work. This is kind of secret with the Copa America that's coming in 2 years. So
Oh,
we're on our way there. Targeting that. And so just I think the growth of soccer in general has been a huge part of our business and the friends we've made, and so that's a very we're very proud of that history we have. So
now talking of Copa America, and you are called Sports Pins International after all. Do you do a lot of business in other parts of the world? Not just obviously we think of Canada, but do you do Mexico and down into South America as well?
yes, we've been very fortunate. That's been a big deal. We've actually done a lot with Europe. We've done some work with UEFA. Very proud of that too.
Sure.
We've done some work with some of the with a lot of the federations, a lot of the national federations that come that travel for the different World Cup events. We've done a lot of work for the Mexican national teams. We do some for Bermuda. We do some for a lot of the CONCACAF members. We've done a lot because we've gotten a lot of we've done a lot of work within CONCACAF, so we're very well known within that
So when
sense.
you say we do a lot of work with them, what are you doing for, say, the Mexican Federation? Are you making medals for their national teams, their
No,
youth national teams? How does that play out?
more like stuff when they travel. We do a lot of their little pennants, the little pennants that they exchange and stuff like that. The team pennants, we do a lot of
Okay.
those. We've done pins for them. We've done. We actually haven't done. We do the Gold Cup medal, of course. And so when Mexico has hosted it, we've done the Gold Cup medal for them as well. So.
I see. I'm with you. Another question. What has surprised you most about your experience in this industry?
Um, very pleasant surprise of the loyalty of our customers, loyalty and camaraderie. I think, and that's a wonderful thing to see. Our customers are very. I come in here every day and I'll get like an email from a customer just saying, hey, this or that, or I'll get another email saying, so and so refer me, so and so talked about you, and I tell my husband every day, I love my customers, I really do, because they are great, and so that has, I think I didn't expect that kind of satisfaction that I would feel going into work every day, and the ability to create new designs, and when we see the kids excited about wearing these medals or these pins, or they just get so happy, and that is a great feeling. That really
Mm.
is.
Last question. If you could impart one piece of advice, and I think I know the answer to this, but I'm going to ask it anyway. If you could impart one piece of advice to someone who's just running their first tournament, what would it be?
I'm going to go back to start early.
Oh, I knew you were going to say
Start
that.
early, yes, that is a big deal. And work with an awards company that really is going to help you. My motto is that we're going to help you succeed. If you succeed, we have succeeded in doing our job. And we really take that personally. I mean, I could go on and say, you know what, we have great quality, we have great customer service, but so do other award companies. They do too. I'm not going to say they don't. But we have a passion. We have a commitment to you. And I think that is kind of what's going to, separate us a little bit from everybody else.
And you only do sports, correct?
No, we actually do corporate. We do
Okay.
some corporate. We do a lot of schools. We do academic decathlons, which is also a lot of fun to do. And we've done work for like BJ's Brewery and McDonald's and other big corporate events. So.
Excellent. Well, Maria, it's been wonderful having you on. I'm really glad you came along, and you've given our audience an awful lot to think about when it comes to ordering their medals or trophies or plaques or whatever it is they decide to go with. So thank you very much for that. I really appreciate it. Just to give you your chance to sort of give you your 30-second pitch at the end, do tell us how people can reach you, website, phone number, all that good stuff.
Thank you. Yeah. Okay. So Sport Pins International, we're located here in California, but we do ship everywhere in the country and everywhere in the world. And we are at www.sportpins, sportpins.com. And there is no S in the middle. Please remember that. sportpins.com. Our phone number here is 909-985-4549. And so just, yeah, reach out to us, and just Google Sport Pins, or you'll find us. So
we'll place a link on the show notes page when we do this, when we post this this interview up. So that's another way folks will be able to reach out to you. So really appreciate you coming along. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Michael. I'll talk to you soon. All right. I look forward to seeing you in January in Philadelphia.
Yeah, I'll see you there.
Okay. Bye-bye.